Shrivasadi Gaurabhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Absolutely beautiful prayers. Thank you so much, Priya. That was absolutely wonderful. Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll do a quick recap. Second chapter that we did, I said it's broken down into G-I-T-A, right? Gita. G, the section spoke about Guru. I spoke about our two identities, correct? I am the body, I am the soul, right? To understand these two concepts. Then we spoke about our two dharmas, right? Because I'm soul, I have a particular dharma. Because I've taken on this body, I have a particular dharma. And then we spoke about Atmaram, right? We spoke about a Sthita Prajna. So G-I-T-A. Similarly, this third chapter is also broken down into 4 sections. You can remember it easily if you know tree, T-R-E-E. So the first one, Tyag versus Sannyas, right? This was Arjun's confusion. Arjun asked Krishna, if you think ki buddhi is better than karma, then why do you want me to fight? Why don't I just go take sannyas? And at that point, Krishna tells him that there are 2 types of people. There are the Jnana Yogis and there are the Karma Yogis. Jnana Yogis are those who give up work completely. And Karma Yogis are those who continue to do their prescribed duty. And Krishna is warning Arjun कि बिना सोचे समझे संन्यास मत लो. A person who externally renounces work, but internally his mind is still thinking of all kinds of sense objects, then that person is a mithyacharaha, a pretender. So Krishna is telling him it is better to do all your work and do it for Vishnu. Do all your prescribed duties, do it for Vishnu, and that way you will avoid karma bandhan. Right? Yajñarthat karmano. Okay? Anyatra karma bandhan. Okay? So please keep that in mind. That was the first section that we covered. Then last week we covered the second section, which is rungs of the ladder. R is for rungs of the ladder. There is a ladder that we have to climb to get to bhakti, finally prem of God. We're all at the bottom, which is we're all only doing karmas for ourselves. Right? Last time I said we were like animals, in fact. Worse than animals, because all we do is eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and wo bhi not regulated. From there, Krishna is slowly moving us up to karma kand. Do your karma, right? Because you're full of desires, right? So where do you start? You start by doing your karmas, do them with desires. But when you do them, just offer it to the devatas, right? The Anya devatas that God Himself has appointed to look after the administration of this material world. This whole cycle of nature is depending on each one of us doing our duty and doing it as yajna, right? By sacrifice, we are not sacrificing our desires. We are doing everything that we want. We are offering it to God, and dhire dhire ye karte karte we will get purified, right? So we went to karma kand. Now today we are going to go one step higher. Okay, now first what has happened? We were in the animalistic stage. From there we understood ki chalo, karm karo, with attachment karo, start offering it back to the devatas. Today Krishna will talk about nishkama karma. Okay, you do your karma slowly. How do you get out of the kamanaya? And if you're a person who does not have kamana, why do you still need to work? Because Arjun might tell Krishna, Ki Krishna, you said people with desires have to perform their duties. That's okay. But Krishna, I too have no desires only. I don't want the kingdom. I don't want heaven. I don't want anything. Then Krishna, why should I fight the war? Right? So now today Krishna is going to explain that even if you don't have any desire, you need to work. Right? Because you're a Kshatriya. You are Yudhishthir Maharaj ka bhai. Right? So to set an example for others, you need to work. The previous section introduced Indriya Rama, a person who is engrossed in satisfying his own Indriyas, his own senses. Today's section will describe this Atma Ram, this Atma Trupta, a person who is completely satisfied and yet he needs to perform his duty. Right? So verses 17 to 35, okay, it's a long section, we won't be able to cover everything today. We're going to do a small part of it today. But 17 to 35 is going to talk about Nishkama Karma Yoga. This person is Nishkama. He has no kamanai, without desires. And yet, he is going to do Karma Yoga. He is going to perform all his duties. He is going to offer them to the Supreme Lord. He is doing all his duties for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Why? To set the right example. Okay, he's a leader in society and so he needs to tell people in general how to behave. A person who's in full knowledge does not have material desires, he does not have attachment. So actually, he can get away by not performing his prescribed duties because he's already purified, right? Why do we perform prescribed duties? For our purification. This person is already purified. He does not need to perform his prescribed duties, but he still performs his prescribed duties. Why? To set an example for those who are less knowledgeable, for those who are not purified. Okay, so today's section we're going to talk about that kind of person. We're going to start with verse number 17. Okay, chapter 3, verse number 17. Please repeat after me. Yastvat maratirev syad atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate.
But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty.
Perfect. Why do we have material desires? Because we've taken on this body. Right? Correct. We have accepted a particular body. And we have now Dehatma Buddhi. Because of this body, I start thinking I am this body. So whatever this body wants, I think ki I want that. I forget ki I am the Atma. If I remember ki I am Atma, I am part of the Supreme Lord, then I am already fully satisfied. Right? Then I don't have any hankerings. Because as the soul, I am Satchit Ananda. Correct? Sat Chit Ananda. But we are not always aware that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. I am not the Deha, I am Atma. Correct? When I remember that I am Atma and when I constantly keep telling myself that I am Atma, then I experience bliss. I experience complete satisfaction. Look at the words that are used in this verse. Atma Ratir. Matlab, I enjoy myself within myself because I'm the Atma. I'm always connected to God, right? So I'm Atma Ratir. As a soul, I'm supremely enjoying myself. Atma Trupta. I'm completely satisfied, right? Trupti, right? When you drink water and your thirst is quenched, that is Trupta feel hote ho. And Atma Santushta. Perfectly satiated. I have no other desire. Right? So I'm completely happy, I'm completely content, and I'm completely satisfied. If I am at that stage, then this verse is telling me, Tasya karyam na vidyate. For that person, there is no karya to be done. There is no duty, because he's already realized he's connected with the Supreme. He's Satchitananda, completely satisfied. तो इसको तो कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. There's no dehatma buddhi. Right? So, the karma, the duties which are prescribed for materially conditioned souls are not applicable to self-realized souls. Because they've already attained the goal of all karma. Why do we do karma? To get purified and to realize that we are Atma, we are part of the Supreme. Agar wo realization already aa gaya hai, then this person does not need to do any karma, no? It's like, as long as I'm in college, okay, if I'm a college student, I have to follow all the rules of the university. Correct? But once I graduate, once I've got my degree, then the rules of that university become irrelevant. Right? Because I'm already a graduate now. As a graduate, the rules of the college don't apply to me anymore. Similarly, I am doing all karmas so long as I think I am this body. Right? But once I have reached that stage where I have understood I am not this body, I am spirit soul, then I'm already liberated. So for me, I don't have to follow any rules of the Vedas anymore, right? The goal of the Ved, all the Vedas, is to help me unite with God. But once I've already united with God, once I've realized that I'm part of God, then the rules of the Vedas don't apply to me. Okay? So this verse 17 is telling us that the day you feel your Atma Ratir, you are Atma Trupta and your Atma Santushta, that day you can stop doing your prescribed duties, even your Varnashram Dharma. But when you reach that stage in life. Okay? Let's go to the next verse, please. Please repeat after me. Naiva tasya krutenartho na kruteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being.
Okay, so the same thing. The duties that are prescribed for us, worldly people who are still at the bodily level, for us the duty is apne varn or apne ashram ke hisab se varnashram dharma karo. But for that person who's realized that he is one with God, who's taken ashray of God, for him even varnashram dharma does not apply. We people who are constantly thinking, I am this body, I need this, I need this. For us, karma needs to be performed. I am worried about my children, I am worried about my parents, I am worried about my in-laws, I am worried about society. For us, karma needs to be performed. Because we want that ultimate happiness. And that karma, all we can do is start doing it as an offering to God. Correct? Why are we doing it? To gradually purify our mind and to help us go above worldly contamination. Last week we spoke about the Pancha Mahayajna. Right? We said because we are full of material attachments, it is recommended that we do the Pancha Mahayajna. We do Deva Yajna, we do Pitar Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manushya Yajna and Brahma Yajna. Correct? So we spoke about these 5 yajnas that we do so that we gradually get purified and move towards self-realization. But those people who are already self-realized, who have already reached absorption in God, they've already developed purity of mind. Correct? They're directly engaged in bhakti. Right? They're always engaged in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Right? In service to Guru, in service to God. So for these people, if they give up worldly duties, it is not considered a sin. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, for those people who are enlightened, there are two options. One, they can give up work completely. Two, they can continue working. The choice is theirs. Even the Buddha, right? Buddha was asked, ki after enlightenment, what does one need to do? And it's a very beautiful question that was put in front of the Buddha. And Buddha, in his very calm, profound state, said, well, that person has two options. After attaining enlightenment, you have two options. One, don't do anything. But two, help others become enlightened. Okay? One is, you're enlightened, do nothing. But two, because you're part of this society, help others become enlightened. Right? Continue performing your worldly duties if you wish. You're not obliged to do them. So if you look at our scriptures, right? Our scriptures talk about such great souls. There's Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, even Vibhishan, right? All these people were such greatly realized souls. All these people have got pratyaksha darshan of God, right? There was no need for them to do any worldly duties, and yet they continued to discharge their worldly duties even after having got Bhagwan Ji ka darshan. These are called karma yogis. Externally, they were doing their duties with their body, right? Raja Rishi, they are called. Because externally, with their body, they are doing all the duties that they're supposed to do, right? But internally, they were continuously attached to God. That is one section of people. The other section, right? We have our great Shankaracharya. We have Madhavacharya. We have Ramanujacharya. Sorry. We have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? We have all these acharyas, all these sannyasis who reject their worldly duties. They accept sannyas, right? Which is the renounced order of life. They are called karma sannyasis. They've taken sannyas from karma, right? Internally and externally, with body, mind, buddhi, everything, they're continuously engaged in devotion to God now, right? They're not doing any other work in this material world. They're completely devoted to service of God. So in this verse, Krishna is telling Arjun ki yes, both options are available. Okay? But in the next verse, immediately he tells Arjun ki this is what I recommend for you, Arjun. Okay? 3.19 please. Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samacharam asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushah.
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the Supreme.
Perfect, right? So Krishna immediately says, yes, there are two options. But listen, Arjun. Tasmad, therefore, asakta satatam. Satatam, always be asakta. Sakti means you're attached. Asakta, become detached. Right? Give up all attachments to fruits of your action, but karyam karma samachara. Do your karya. Do your karma always. Do it how? As a matter of duty. Asakto hyacharan karma, because when you work like this, asakta hoke, without attachment, what will happen? Param apnoti purushah. You will attain that param, that supreme purush. Right? So become asakta, do all your karma as a matter of duty, and when you do your karma like this, you will attain the supreme. So Arjun, get up and fight this battle of Kurukshetra, because I, Krishna, I want you to fight. So, to be a violent person, or a non-violent person is also something that I'm doing for myself, no? I want ahimsa, therefore I will not fight. Or I want to fight the war. Krishna is saying no. Don't make it a choice for yourself. Do what the Supreme needs. You understand? I want to be good. I want to be non-violent. All these are choices that Arjuna is making for himself, because that is what he wants. But what is Krishna saying? Act on my behalf. Figure out what it is that I want you to do. Act on behalf of the Supreme. And that is truly acting without attachment. And that becomes perfect action. Right? So first, Krishna spoke about Vedic rituals. Right? To purify impious activities, we offer them to God. Then he said, in 17 and 18 verses, he said, Atma Truptir, Atma Ratir, Atma Santushta, if you are, then you don't need to perform your prescribed duties. But as far as Arjun and we in general are concerned, what is the most suitable path for us? Krishna's recommendation is, be a karma yogi. Don't take karma sannyas. And the reasons for that he is going to tell us from 20 to 26. Verses 20 to 26, he is going to tell us why it is better for us to be a karma yogi and not take karma sannyas. Okay, let's go to 20. Do we have any questions so far? It's a pretty simple section, and all our questions will keep getting answered as we go ahead. Okay, 3.20 please. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसंग्रहमेवापि.
Kings such as Janaka attained perfection only by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Very nice. So obviously after everything that Krishna is saying, Arjuna is thinking, yaar, how can somebody be an Atmarati, Atmatrupta, Atma Santushta and still, perform warrior duties? Is it even possible? And so Krishna gives him an example from history. Right? Example of the great Janak Maharaj. Who's Janak Maharaj? Sita Maiya's father. Right? According to the Bhagavad Puran, there are 12 Mahajan. Mahajan means the greatest devotees of Lord Vishnu, and those guys who know Dharma perfectly. They perfectly understand Bhagavad Dharma. Right? Brahmaji, Narad Muni, Shivji, the 4 Kumars. Right? Kapil, Manu, Prahlad, Janak Maharaj, Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami and Yama, the god of death. These are our 12 Mahajans, right? And 12 Mahajan mein se ek ka example is what Krishna gives Arjun. He says, imagine Janak Maharaj, right? One of the 12 Mahajans, one of the greatest devotees of God, one who tells others about Bhagavad Dharma because he understands it so perfectly. You really think that Janak Maharaj had duties to perform? No, right? And yet, he performed all his duties. He was the king of Mithila, right? He was a king. He had so many praja under him. He performed his duties so that his praja would know how to perform their duties, right? It is believed that Janak Maharaj, in fact, would have a lot of pandits, a lot of sadhu, santa visit his kingdom, and they would recite all the scriptures, right? He would invite people, they would have group recitations, because Janak Maharaj was the one who said, if you water the root of the tree, then the whole tree becomes nourished. So if I offer everything to Vishnu, then my entire kingdom will flourish, right? There's a very interesting episode over there, right? Janak Maharaj would invite a lot of sadhus, sannyasis very regularly, and because the whole janta would be there, he would ask very interesting questions so that people learn from analogies, right? People don't like to listen to one person talk, they like to listen to other respectable people talking. So once Ashtavakra Muni had gone to the kingdom of Mithila, Okay? And that time, Janak Maharaj asks him, Ki Mahamunivar, how does one get free from material attachments? Such a nice question, right? How do I get free from material attachments? Ashtavakra Muni, extremely famous for his responses, right? He sits there, he thinks for 2 minutes, and then you know what he does? Does anyone know this story? It's beautiful. He leaves the palace and he goes running out to the garden. Okay? Goes running to the garden, holds on to a big tree, holds on to that tree really, really tight. And he starts shouting, leave me, leave me, leave me. Okay, so the Muni was sitting in the palace when he was asked, how do I get free from material attachments? What does he do? He runs to the garden, holds on to a big, let's say, mango tree, holds it tight and starts screaming, leave me, leave me, leave me. This is learning by observing. The tree is not holding Ashtavakra Muni. Desires are not holding us. We are holding on to the desires. Right? So the only thing we need is to have a strong desire to become free. Right? By using our free will, by using our own strength, we should be able to give up these material attachments. Right? Our will is very weak, and that is why we are holding on to material attachments. Right? Now Krishna and Arjun, they don't need to fight in this battle of Kurukshetra, but they fight to teach people that in certain situations violence is necessary, because good arguments have failed. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid this war. Right? Krishna himself has gone as a messenger of peace. But Duryodhana and his buddies were determined to fight. So for the sake of dharma, this war was necessary. And in this situation, if a great leader of society becomes a karma sannyasi, and if he renounces work, he is going to set a wrong example for other people. The leader may be a complete bhakta. The leader is completely eligible for liberation. Right? He can renounce work. He can completely sit down and engage in spirituality. But society in general will use his example and use that as an excuse. Ki bhai wo nahi kar raha hai to main kyun karu? Right? It will become an excuse for escapism, to run away from responsibilities. In India, we find thousands of these sadhus. Right? They renounce worldly duties, they take sannyas. They think I'm as great as Shankaracharya. I'm as great as Madhavacharya. Right? Ramanujacharya. Okay? But then they wear the saffron robes. But internal purity abhi tak hui nahi hai. And that is why there is trouble. Then they become, indulged in all kinds of ghatiya pleasures. Right? Quietly they're doing drugs, they're drinking, they're womanizing, whatever. And then all the scandals that we read about. Right? So it's very important that if a great leader becomes a karma yogi, then his followers will continue to do their karma. They will dutifully nibhao all their responsibilities. And so Krishna now speaks this most beautiful shlok, a very popular shlok which they quote in all kinds of leadership seminars. Okay, very, very commonly quoted shlok is 3.21, and I would like all of you to learn it by heart. Please repeat after me. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tattadevetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate.
Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
Okay? Yad yad acharati shreshthas. Shreshtha, somebody who is superior to us. Okay? The way he does his acharan, his behavior, tat tad evetaro janah. Evetaro, common men are going to follow exactly that. Right? So now in today's world, right, children have influencers that they follow. Sayat pramanam kurute. So to set a pramanam, a standard, an ideal, lokastat anuvartate. Everybody is going to follow in your footsteps. So a Shrestha has to be very careful about how he acts. People in general need a leader, one who can teach them by practical behavior, right? A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he is himself smoking, correct? I mean, we've all grown up, right? We've all worn clothes like Juhi Chawla, I don't know, the men like Amitabh Bachchan, we've all copied hairstyles. The current generation is, copying Deepika Padukone, whoever, right? We all imitate. In fact, Bhagavatam says that one should always follow in the footsteps of great devotees if you want to become a devotee of the Lord. That's the only way you can understand. By following in the footsteps of great devotees, only then you will be able to walk that path of spirituality. And that great devotee, or a king, or a politician, or a father, or a mother, or a guru, right? They're all considered natural leaders. And therefore their responsibility is very, very high. According to Shastra, according to the Bhagavad, it says, don't you dare become a mother or a father if you don't know how to raise God-conscious children. Because you're a Shrestha, and children are going to follow exactly what they see you doing, not what you tell them. Right? Therefore, as mother, father, guru, king, leader, whatever, you need to be conversant with moral codes, with spiritual codes. And when a leader dutifully performs his duty, others will follow. Right? This will help others to discipline their man and buddhi. Dheere, dheere, they'll see, okay, leader is like this, therefore we will do this. And dheere, dheere, the entire society will rise to the spiritual platform. Yes, Subbalakshmi.
There is a Sanskrit verse, no? Yatha Raja Tatha Praja.
Exactly, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. I mean, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but if you look at what is happening in our country today, right? Look at the fervor of January 22nd. Look at the excitement that everybody has about Ram Lala ka Murti ka Pran Pratishtha. Has this ever happened before? It hasn't. Why? Yad yad achariti shreshthas tatta devetaro janaha. Right? Literally everybody is getting an akshata and, getting a kalash and akshata and everything. All societies are doing puja. Everyone is so excited. Bhai, 12 baje to hum sab log baithenge. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram karenge. Right? Why? Yad yad achariti shreshthas tatta devetaro janaha. Right? I'm not getting into the politics of it at all. But it is a proven fact that everyone will follow a leader. And therefore a leader needs to perform his duties. Leader cannot take sannyas. Right? A leader is someone who is going to help everyone else to slowly rise to that spiritual platform, to slowly walk the path. Therefore Krishna is telling Arjun कि भाई तू कर्म का संन्यास नहीं ले सकता, तुझे तो कर्म योगी बनना पड़ेगा. Right? So Arjun, even if you think that you are Atmarati, you are Atma Santushta, you are Atma Tripta, still you will have to fight this war. Because if you suddenly give up everything and run to the jungle, people who are full of desires will be very confused. They will quit their duties, they will leave all their responsibilities, but they will go to the jungle with all their desires. There will be mayhem, there will be chaos everywhere. Right? And so now Krishna gives his own example. Okay, verse number 22, please. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani.
O son of Partha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the 3 planetary systems. Nor am I in want of anything, nor I have a need to obtain anything. And that I am engaging prescribed duties.
So beautiful. Now, so Krishna is giving his own example. He is saying, Oh Partha, do you realize that I have absolutely no duty to perform in all the 3 worlds? Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Na me parthasti kartavyam. Oh Partha, I have no kartavya in all the 3 worlds. Right? I don't need anything. I mean, he's the one who has Kalpavruksha. He is the one who has Surabhi cows. Right? He is the one who lives in Golok Vrindavan. Do you really think that he is in want of anything? No. And yet here he is. Right? Performing his prescribed duties. The reason we all work, right, is because we need something. We are dissatisfied, we feel incomplete, and so we work and we try to get contentment, we try to become satisfied, we try to get happiness. Correct? But Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the Lord of all the Lords. He is the controller of all the controllers. He is the greatest that there is. Everyone, everything is under his control. There is no one greater than him. Right? He is the cause of all causes. So obviously there is no duty for him to perform. If he wanted a kingdom for himself, है ना, चुटकी बजाते kingdom तैयार. And yet this great Lord Krishna is becoming a Partha Sarthi, he is called. He's become Partha ka Sarthi, a chariot driver for Partha, for Arjun on this battlefield. Right? So if this great personality is working, then obviously there is only one reason for it. And that reason is welfare of others. If Krishna is participating in this war, it is only because he wants to show that dharma will always prevail. Right? If you look at Krishna's entire life, it is entirely nothing but him doing his duty with a spirit of detachment. At birth, he left his parents. So where is the attachment? Right? At birth, he left his parents and he went to Yashoda's cradle in Gokul. In Gokul, बिचारे इतने से थे और क्या कर रहे थे? He was fighting all the demons that Kamsa had sent. Right? After a few years, that entire village had to move, right? They had to move from Gokul to Vrindavan. Correct? Because there were so many demons, so much trouble that Kamsa was creating. Then, मजा किया Vrindavan में, but till what age? छोटे से थे. And again duty called. When duty called, he left his beautiful Basuri. He left all the Gopas. He even left Radharani. And he went to Mathura. Why? To kill Kamsa. Right? His mama. And when he killed Kamsa, Mathura should have become his. He killed the Raja, so obviously Mathura became his. Did he get attached? No. अपने नाना को राजा बनाया है ना, उग्रसेन, his grandfather, उनको राजा बनाया. And then what did he do? He left Mathura also. Because that Jarasan kept attacking, ye wo chodo, he left Mathura also. Then he went, built a new city, Dwarka. Right? Dwarka में राजा बने, इतनी सारी रानियां. But again when duty called, he was the Pandavs का cousin. Right? He was the greatest lord. He needed to side by Dharma. And so he comes to Hastinapur. Right? There also goes as a peace messenger. So if you look at Krishna, he's constantly been engaged in duty. Why? To set an example for everyone else in this world. So Krishna is telling Arjun कि भाई इतना याद रख कि तीनों लोकों में I have no duty to perform and yet I work for the welfare of others. Right? So he continues that same conversation in verse number 23. Yadi yaham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
So Krishna is explaining why should he work? Right? What will be the loss if Krishna does not work at all? Krishna says, if I fail to perform my duties, all men will imitate me. Because people always imitate their leaders. People always imitate their heroes. They dress like them, they eat like them, they behave like them. Morality is based on what the leaders call morals. So if Krishna did not continue to work, other men in the kingdom would give up work. Krishna was a king, he was a great leader, right? In this world, he appeared as the son of Vasudev, Vrishni dynasty ka Vasudev ka beta. So if Krishna did not perform his prescribed duties, then people would follow his footsteps and give up their duties. Correct? And so Krishna, again, he's continuing, right? I told you till 26, he's explaining why Arjun and why they need to perform their duties. Okay? Verse number 24, please. Utsideyur ime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imah prajaha.
If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
Perfect. So Krishna is saying, look, when I am here in this material world, right, I do everything which is appropriate for my position in society. Right? Today I'm a Raja. I need to be an example for my Praja. Therefore, if you see a lot of times, right, you'll see Krishna performing Vedic rituals, right? Krishna with his wives, Krishna with his children, Krishna with all his relatives. Krishna says, if I did not do that, other people will just imitate me, right? People want to imitate the son of the great Vasudev. So if I fail to perform my Vedic duties, people are just going to follow my example. They are not going to do their karma, and this whole world would be in a state of chaos. Similarly, Arjun, right, you are the brother of Yudhishthir. You are the brother of Bhim. You are the grandson of Bhishma Pitama. You are the most beloved son of Dronacharya, right? If you fail in your duty to protect dharma, what are the other warriors going to think? They will also think, bhai Arjun chhod ke chala gaya, to hum log bhi chhod ke chale jayenge. Right? They will all give up their duty of protecting dharma, and that will be disastrous. So for the benefit of the entire human race, for the welfare of the world, Krishna is telling Arjun, no Arjun, you cannot neglect your duties. Sakta karmanya vidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tatha saktas.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Now, a very common thing that is said, if you want to be a good parent, I'm in the field of education, right? So I normally always say that a child's performance in his academic, schooling life completely depends on what he sees his parents doing, right? I cannot tell my child to read if my child never sees me read, right? I can't tell my child that reading is very good. Reading will give you knowledge. It will increase your vocabulary. It will tell you about the current world. You should read the newspaper every day if I don't know what is current affairs, right? So to have good children, it's very, very important for us to be good parents. We can't tell our children to eat all their vegetables if we ourselves are eating only aloo and paneer. Correct? I'm like the worst mother, right? I need chaat and I need tasty stuff all the time. I can't do normal khana. So who am I to tell my children to eat normal khana, right? So unless you are exemplary, you cannot guide anyone else, right? So here, even if you are somebody now who's already well read, you've read all the books, you don't need to do that. You need to be doing something else. Still, you can't tell your children to do something that they can't see you doing. What Krishna is telling Arjun is, ignorant people will do their duty with attachment. Okay? Realized people have to do their duty without attachment. But when you are doing it without attachment, don't go and tell that person कि यार तू तो गधा है, तू तो अभी तक attached है. Don't do that. Don't disturb him. Okay, because he has to still walk his path. He has to still climb that ladder. Let him do it. उसका है ना धीरे 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 प्योरिफिकेशन होगा. Today don't go and tell him कि boss you're stupid. Start doing all your work and do it as an offering to God. उसको अगर वो समझ में नहीं आएगा वो पूरा concept, he is going to say नहीं मैं संन्यास लेता हूँ. Right? Materialistic people are very attached to work. So Krishna is telling people कि if they are attached to their work, please let them be attached to their work and the fruits of their work. Let them climb up that ladder धीरे धीरे धीरे. That is why I spoke to you about karma kand before. I'm slowly introducing the concept of karma yoga. Right? Initially, if they feel कि let me, I want a lot of things, let them go and pray to the devtas. When the devtas give them that particular stuff, let them go and offer it back to the devtas and say thank you. Let them understand that cycle of praying for something, getting it, then offering it back and feeling grateful. Let them first understand that concept. As their desires keep getting fulfilled, धीरे 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 they will understand that there is a supreme power. Now my desires are getting fulfilled, so I should give a little more. धीरे धीरे I should give without wanting anything in return. Right? धीरे धीरे let me do without expecting anything else in return. Let me do for the general good of society. These are all gradual states that we all have to accomplish. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, कि please don't disturb people who are acting with attachment. Right? If they are attached to their karma, if they are attached to their karma phal, let them be. You act as a matter of duty because you have reached that particular stage. Right? Internally, you are not attached. Very good. You have no asakti to karma or karma phal. Very good. You do it for God. But don't disturb those people who are doing it with attachment because you have to still lead them. Right? So just as ignorant people are doing their karma with attachment, you, the learned person, the wise person, you do your karma, do it without attachment. If you read about Yudhishthir Maharaj in the Bhagavad, right? Yudhishthir Maharaj after the war literally had done that whole Ashwamedha Yajna, I think it is, right? He had done the Yajnas, he had, become pretty much the Raja of the entire world, right? After becoming Raja of the entire world, in every town and village, right, there was something like Ram Rajya, right? Everybody had become very dharmic because their Raja was so dharmic, right? There was a lot of worship, a lot of understanding of service. The entire world was in a very good place. And at that point, when Krishna decided to end his Leela and leave this world, right? Krishna decided कि okay, ab hai na, Yadu is getting very strong. All that is there, right? So he dubaus Dwarka, all the Yadus are finished. And now Krishna is moving ahead. He's going back home. And when Yudhishthir hears about Krishna going back home, Yudhishthir, Raja of the entire universe, it did not take him more than an instant to give up everything, set up his children on the throne, his grandson on the throne, right? And start moving north. He knew कि अब मैं राजा क्यों बना? Because Krishna had put me in this position of power. Now that Krishna has left, my tenure is also over. Right? So he installs Parikshit Maharaj as the Raja, and then he does not even look behind. Ki, what are my brothers doing? What is my wife doing? Nothing. He experiences complete detachment from everyone and from everything. And he starts moving north. So jab tak Raja the, till that day he performed all his duties to the T. Complete perfection ke saath. Right? It looked like he was doing his karma, he was attached to his karma phal. But internally he was so detached. He had no material aspirations, no desires for personal gain. Ki the minute Krishna left, he said, okay, now my job here is also done. I'm going back. Right? Complete detachment. So right now, Arjun, you're fighting a dharma yuddha. be completely detached inside, but externally do your dharma. Fight for the welfare of society in general. Do your duty as a warrior, because there are millions of warriors on that battlefield who you're going to lead by example. And so I pray that we all do our Varnashram duties very, very faithfully for our purification, and as we start realizing God to be an example to others in society. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Thank you all for joining.